So I played this list last night, and it was super fun. Fought Grizzled Company in the Search and Destroy and uh, Scorched Earth mission. So that was a lot of fun. And I won like 86 to 37 or something ridiculous. Like it was definitely in the 30s, and I was definitely at 86 points by the end. Um, and partially just because it's very, very hard to shoot this list because Bellacor's got his 18-inch can't shoot me bubble. And then I've got the you can't shoot me unless you're got line of sight, but I can still shoot you, Lord of Change. Um, so this is the list. It's got Be'lakor, Demon Prince of Nurgle, or I'm sorry, Demon Prince of Tzeentch with an improbable shield. So he's got a 6-inch psychic and mortal wound, feel no pain, 6-inch stealth aura. He's got a 3-up invuln. He's got yeah, I think that's it. Oh, he's got a if he's within 3 inches of infantry, so my blue or pink horrors, he also gets lone op. So he's real hard to kill, real hard to get to, and he's quite useful in this list because he also not only is hard to deal with, he is also real impossible to kill the things around him, which makes him very tough. Kyra's Fate Weaver gave me extra CP throughout the game, and by the way, I will be taking this to a 102 person tournament. So that's why I played this yesterday. It was a practice game. Tomorrow starts a tournament for me because it's on Tabletop Simulator. If you're not playing on Tabletop Simulator, get on Tabletop Simulator. It's a ton of fun, and you don't have to have every model that you play with on there. So that's awesome. I got 2 Lords of Change in here. One with the Infernal Puppeteer, so I can shoot through other models. That's what the horrors are for in this list. It gives me one long string of horrors to shoot from, and they're real hard to take off the board, especially at -1 to hit. And when they can take a 4-up Feel No Pain against grenades, 4-up Feel No Pain against psychic attacks, 4-up Feel No Pains against tank shock, etc., they become a lot harder to kill. Big tanks and stuff like that can kill them with just a ton of firepower. So that's messed up, but works. The Inescapable Eye gives me additional tokens, which I don't know if they're worth it or not. I've played this list for over a year or something similar to this, and sometimes I take an Inescapable Eye. Most of the time I just take the Neverblade. In this case, I wanted the extra rerolls. I wanted to make sure that I had that. I don't know. I actually prefer the Neverblade on the Winged Demon Prince. It's cheaper than the Lord of Change with Inescapable Eye, but the Lord of Change does still have a lot of firepower, especially in this particular detachment. Took a Sloppity Bile Piper. You may be wondering why in the world they took a Sloppity Bile Piper in his each list. Well, he's 55 points, and that's what I had left over. So I decided to stick him on my home objective and let him sit back there. And if anybody charges him, they have to take a battle shock test. They're already in they're in my deployment zone, so they're going to be dealing with the Shadow of Chaos back there, so they're -1 to the test, and they're going to take D3 mortal wounds for trying to take my home and potentially become battle shocked. Yesterday, the way that worked out was pretty funny. The guy dropped down a unit in my back line because I had left a bubble, unfortunately. And he tried to charge, failed. Tried to shoot him, failed. And Sloppity just moved to the other side of the wall. And because he had dropped down a small vehicle, he was playing Astra Militarum. He dropped down a small vehicle, and he was unable to charge him through the wall. And then so he brought legends to this list, or to this game, because it's a super casual game for just practicing. And he brought a Hades breaching drill, which comes with a bunch of engine seers or something like that. And Tried to charge me, failed. Tried to shoot me with shotguns, failed. Sloppity walks through the wall. The Hades breaching engine or whatever can't go through the wall, so, and it was his attack power. And so I spent a CP to go through the wall of Kairos, destroyed all that crap, and made sure that my home was safe. So essentially, he did nothing, but he did take a battle shock test and failed that. Or he passed that, didn't even kill anything, but it was entertaining that he was back there trying to fight Sloppity for no real reason other than he wanted to take my home objective for Scorched Earth, and it just didn't work out at all for him. He just lost that unit that did nothing. Now, that unit can do something because the Hades Breaching Drill is insane when it comes to its damage, if you've ever played against it. I've had it wipe out many vehicles in the past, and because when he makes that charge, it's brutal. He probably should rapid ingress it, and maybe I'll tell him that later because he is a buddy of mine. Anyway, blue and pink horrors. Blue horrors give me a lot of options. Normally, I only take pink horrors if I take horrors at all. A lot of people with this style list are taking a bunch of screamers or taking a bunch of flamers. I like the horrors in this list because they're extremely difficult to kill and give me large lines that I can replace the models in so I don't lose anything to coherency typically, and they can shoot all over the place. And even if I lose some models, as long as I get one yellow horror back on the blues, then it just keeps coherency, and I can continue shooting and keeping massive lines of sight. I've brought as many as 3 units of blue horrors because they can infiltrate and extend my Lord of Change. They can shoot through them out multiple inches, which is super fun. With the blue horrors unit, because it has infiltrate, if I set it up one way, I can have just a couple blue horrors poking their head out really far out into the out into no man's land, and I got to be 9 inches away from their deployment zone, which is fine because I've got 18 inches of shooting. So in some scenarios, I've been out, like for example, Scorched Earth, or I'm sorry, Search and Destroy. In some of those scenarios, I can just put the blue horrors out and control an entire section of the board with the Lord of Change from the blue horrors, and I can shoot 9 inches into their deployment zone round 1. So that's insane because they can go wherever they want, and the Lord of Change can shoot through them. So I can set up a scenario where I'm killing their biggest tanks round 1, and all they're getting access to kill is my blue horrors unit for 125 points. 125 points is expensive for them, but it's worth it in the Scintillating Legion. They also act as a speed bump in a lot of cases. The pink horrors. Pink horrors are mostly there to move block. The thing about the pink horrors is that they're extremely difficult to remove when they're around the demon prince, because they're -1 to hit. They get a 4 feel no pain against grenades, which is the standard way to deal with pink horrors. Is run up, grenade them, do as many mortal wounds as you can. They don't come back after a bunch of mortal wound nonsense, like Doom Bolt, for example. So they end up just dying because you can't bring them back after stuff like that. Well, if I have a 4 feel no pain against those mortal wounds, that means half of those wounds aren't gonna go through. So the pink horrors unit survives, and then I am able to continue on and use this as move blocking. Use this as the same way I use the blue horrors, but they just have to move forward some. In this list, I can teleport them. So let's say the blue horrors die round one, I can then uppy downy the pink horrors and put them in the exact same position. And I've got the Lord of Change shooting out into infinity with them again. Um, Be'lakor is keeping this whole squad safe because they got to move forward 18 inches, and by the time they get forward, then they have to deal with Be'lakor and his massive weapons, and the Demon Prince and his piddly weapons that still hit hard enough. In previous iterations of this list, instead of having this Lord of Change here, I would have the Demon Prince with wings and the Neverblade. And if you know anything about that, it hits like a truck. So these three boys would come forward and kill any melee threats, while these are just, well, this Infernal Puppeteer Lord of Change is sitting in the back just melting stuff. And then I got 2 units of Screamers, one with 6, one with 3. Again, 6 Screamers allows the Lord of Change to shoot through it, and they're a formidable melee threat. And they're also really great at just grabbing secondaries. The way it played out yesterday is I actually didn't use the blue hordes like I normally do because of Scorched Earth. I infiltrated them and stuck one single blue horror on the objective, and he killed it. And I put another one out there, uppy downied, and put my Demon Prince over next to them, stuck him on my home objective, my natural expansion, which allowed for me to hide the blue horrors back in a little spot, a little cubby hole, never to be seen again by the opponent. And the Demon Prince has blown up, as I mentioned, when he's within 3 inches of them, so he just sat there holding the objective the whole game. 220 point objective holder, but nothing came over that got close enough to kill him because I just defended him with the Lord of Change, and the Screamers went around taking other stuff off of objectives, and the other Lord of Change basically denied him points over on his natural expansion. And in Scorched Earth, if you know anything about that, you really want to control your natural expansion, otherwise you're not getting the 10 points that you need every turn. So I was denying him points with one Lord of Change, keeping my expansion safe with the other Lord of Change, and scoring points with the Demon Prince on that objective, running around with the Screamers. And it worked extremely well. Screamers, round 1, killed Scout Sentinel on his objective. So that was awesome. Or on his natural expansion. So he came up, sat on that. Screamers came up, took out that natural expansion before he could score in round 3. And then he had a big tank over there, so I piled into it, so it couldn't move over onto the objective while I still sat on it. That gave me 2 natural expansions, one of mine, one of his, and then the center he pushed up into that, and my big boys were over there dominating the center. So I flew Be'lakor up, took out a big old tank that was also a Legends model, but equivalent of the Baneblade, and the Lord of Change round 1, because he didn't have his 4-up invuln, really messed that tank up pretty bad. Got him down to 11 of his 20 points. And I don't know. It was pretty wild how I just took him out. I took over half of his wounds away, or right around half of his wounds away, with one shot from the Lord of Change with Pyrogenesis. And then he was extremely hard to kill after that because he had a 4-up invuln from his Tech Priest Engine Seer. So then he had a ton of stuff in that stupid tank. Man, he had like 20 or 30 models in there. I think it was 30 models. It was a huge tank. It was ridiculous. And it was OC10 or OC8, and then he had another 20 models stand on the center objective. And this list killed all of it in one round. Um, Bellicor shot the small troops, killing most of them. Um, I had, yeah, all sorts of stuff. Just I killed all of it, took the center, denied him those points. Have already had both the other expansions, so most he was scoring every round was 5 points, and then if he could complete secondaries, he did that as well. While I scored 10 points and then burnt my home objective in the last round, and took the game for 80 some points. It was a pretty wild game, a lot of fun. And that's it. That's how the game went. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe to me if you like this tutorial video. Uh, and I'll talk to you later.